one of the most powerful central banks in the world, along with the Bank of England, the European Central Bank, and the Bank of Japan, has just started a planned fork of the XRP ledger. This is one of the most underrated but also one of the most important events in the history of money. The new blockchain, called the Central Bank Ledger CBL, is a lot like the old XRPL in terms of how it works, how it looks, and how it is structured. There is, however, a big difference between the two. In particular, it is meant to be used with high grade. As part of this smart move, everyone who has XRP is getting one new CBL token. For everyone they have, this fork didn't need any feedback or votes from the community, which is even more surprising than the fact that it was made. The whole thing was done from the top down and behind closed doors. Where would you like us to go? The goal is to make XRP the hub of a new global banking network. This will lay the groundwork for all future CBDC settlement systems. You have bought more than just a cryptocurrency when you bought XRP. You have bought a piece of the operating system that will be used for the next age of global finance. We should all take a moment to think about how exciting this is. For a long time, people have been interested in central bank digital currencies, which are also known as CBDCs. There are tests going on right now with all of the big economic powers. There is still one question that needs to be solved, though. Here are some ideas for how these CBDCs could work together across countries in real time, with as little trouble as possible. Ripple, and more specifically, the XRP system, have been talked about a lot as possible solutions for a long time. Even so, it has never been formally supported up to now. By splitting the XRP record in half and giving ownership to people who already had Bitcoin, the central banks were able to combine public blockchain technology with national monetary policy. They didn't just copy XRPL. Instead, they showed they were better by building the future of money on the basic ideas behind XRPL. At this point, the ledger that central banks keep is the basic procedure for all digital payments around the world. Now, it's almost hard to put a number on the effects of this choice. First, let's talk about the technical side of the site. All of the good things about XRPL, like fast settlement times, low prices, and low energy use, are still there in CBL. It does, however, add another level of government for security, compliance, and national control. Each of the central banks that are taking part will be in charge of running its own verifier nodes. This will make sure that separation only happens in institutions that are controlled, and private players will not be able to join in. This is the second and maybe even more important factor: how the thing will be sent. Individuals who have XRP talk about the one-to-one airdrop as the most important event in the history of digital wealth transfer. People who had XRP at the time of the snapshot now have the same number of CBL coins. Some tokens that are thought to be very important are needed for CBDC to work properly. This is not a set of fake utility tickets for a made-up world. Electronic money instruments can be used to settle deals in digital currencies like euros, pounds, yen, and maybe even other currencies. Now that we've said that, why do central banks choose to act in this way? To be honest, it's not that hard at all. Adoption and having the right to live a life. Those who have XRP are seen as strong and informed about digital currency. To a large degree, regulatory fights, unclear laws, and to be honest, a lot of market volatility have been things that these people have had to deal with. By letting these people join CBL early, central banks are essentially letting people who already know how to use the technology into the new system. There is no question about it. This was ES's clever move that was well thought out. People who are against new money systems and claims of snobbery or centralization can avoid these claims by using this method. It also gives CBL an instant user base of millions of wallet holders, developers, creators. There are swaps, validators, and other sites all over the internet. The change from theory to practice should happen as soon as possible. For a quick minute, let's talk about what this means for the prices. At first glance, it looks like a guaranteed move that can be used twice. There is the same amount of CBL in your hands right now as there was XRP. Your portfolio's potential just got to times bigger if both of the investments end up selling on their own. However, to be honest, that is only the beginning. No one can guess how much CBL is worth because that depends on how well it works with the national financial system. According to the internal paper, the first exchange between a digital euro and a CBL token in the real world will happen in the next few weeks. Another way to say this is that exchange could be the moment when digital assets stop being a gamble and become necessary. Also, the fact that XRP is getting more attention as a way to reach CBDC payment lines will make institutions more interested than ever of this type. On the other hand, the shift of wealth doesn't just happen. There is a picture, but the real question is whether the airdrop will work on your exchange. I think the question is the most important thing. If your XRP is saved on an exchange that doesn't offer it, you might not be able to use the CBL airdrop. If your XRP is stored on a website where you can't get to the secret keys, you might not be able to take part at all. This is a much worse case situation. The information that central banks have given makes it more than clear that the airdrop is only given to wallets whose owners can be confirmed at this point. The money is not being sent to any internal swap accounts or IUS. This is the most important lesson about self-custody. If you can't keep your keys, you might not be able to control your future. A picture was taken. Time is running out, and the spread will start in 3 days and 3 nights. Let me take you even farther away. There are other goals behind this split besides making a new currency. The goal is to change how money moves around the world. The CBL will fully take the place of the current SWIFT system. It will then become the standard layer for all CBDC transactions that happen between banks. Because of this, soon enough, everything from the A system based on blockchain and XRP will be used to move money between financial institutions to pay trades and clear transactions on the capital market. These are not guesses. This has already started to happen. The XRP system was always made to be quick, follow the rules, and be able to connect to other blockchains. In contrast, central banks didn't trust other blockchains because they thought they were either too risky or too autonomous. It is possible to reach this goal with the help of sovereign control through the USE of CBL. There are also privacy levels and zero-knowledge compliance modules in the new ledger, which can be turned on or off as needed. When these modules are used, they allow central banks to keep their activities private while also showing outside inspectors that they are following the rules. Throughout the years that CBDC tried to grow, this was a worry. The problem has been fixed. In short, this means that CBDC deals on CBL will be quick,